I gotta tell you about it. Ready?
Yep.
Hold on. Oops, wait. Okay. And you're good? Your mic and
I'm as close. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm as close as I can get.
I keep fucking around with it.
Hopefully he can't hear my breathing. That's how I feel.
I don't think he can hear it. But anyway, welcome to The Ugly Truth. We're back. We're back after...
I love your hoodie. Or is it a sweatshirt?
Oh, my London sweatshirt?
She's wearing a London sweatshirt.
Yes, I got this in London, and when I bought it, it was too tight.
Oh,
so I had to starve myself so I could get it on because my boobs were just smashing.
I love it.
I had a uniboob, and I was like, okay, I've got to just drink a lot of water. And
did you try it on when you purchased it?
No, we bought it. God, this is so bougie. We went to Notting Hill. And there was a cute little London-based Notting Hill, like London, or the guy was from England. It wasn't a tourist trap looking store. We walked in and he was selling all like London wear, but there were people who were from London in there.
Well, yeah.
Talking to him like they knew him.
Right.
And they're like, oh, where are you guys from? Like, oh, we're from California. And then somebody's like, hey, I'm from Canada. And so there was all these people from different parts of the world. And the guy goes, oh, you're from California? You get 20% off. And like he's literally just giving everybody discounts.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a woman who's clearly local and she's just like,
this isn't fair.
What? No, she's just like, well, what about them? They're from New York. What about them? He goes, 15. Like he was just, she's like, that's not fair. So it was a really cute store. So Daryl and I bought a bag that says Notting Hill.
Oh, cute.
And then we bought this London sweatshirt because it was the only one I liked. Everything else was too ugly. I love it. But anyway, he was very cute, very nice, cute old man. Yeah. He's like, I've been here for 35 years, that kind of thing.
How fun.
With his little accent. Anyway, welcome to The Ugly Truth, episode 596, I believe.
Okay, I won't do that anymore.
Happy. No,
that's my last for the year.
No, that can be your thing. It's fine. No one's going to judge you. Our tens of listeners care not.
Right.
Anyway, so yeah, we had Thanksgiving break and now we are back. Yeah. I don't know how much you want to talk about. You just had a health scare with your spouse.
Yeah, mine's rather boring.
It's fine. He's fine. Everything's fine.
Yes, it just wasn't a traditional week of relaxation and
no, you had to do some medical shit.
Yeah, we had one of those weeks where, but ultimately it was fine. Yeah. Everyone's healthy and good, and I still made a turkey despite my my week that week, and it was terrible. But
it's amazing what happens when you're like, no, we have to get back to normal. I'm making this turkey.
I mean, for me, it's like a rite of passage. It's like a thing I have to do.
Yes.
I don't know why, but
I agree. Well, because it's
not that hard. If you make a turkey every year, if you roast a turkey, it's really not hard.
It's so easy.
The hardest part is prepping the thing because it's so ginormous.
Yes.
That is time consuming because it's large and there's a lot of surface to cover. But
and I will say this, since I can recall, I have been so paranoid of it being undercooked.
Me too.
That
I'm pretty good at getting it right on the mark, though. Like it's been a long, long time since I overcooked a turkey.
Yes.
But alas, I did this year.
So in regard to turkey, about 2 weeks prior to Thanksgiving, I foolishly told Daryl that I thought that he should smoke the turkey this year.
Oh.
I'm like, why don't you just smoke it? We have a smoker. You have this new grill that you bought.
All day.
You love it. You can smoke it. It'll be delicious.
I've heard they're delicious.
2 weeks, like a week before, no, a few days before, we had the turkey already. It was fine.
Yeah.
And I said, I've changed my mind. And he goes, why? And I go, how am I supposed to make gravy? If you smoke, and the gravy is like literally the best part of roasting a turkey.
Because you use the juices, I assume?
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's so good that there's never any left.
Right.
So I'm like, how do I get that?
I usually make supplemental turkey gravy because there's never enough.
Right. And so I said, so I think I just want to roast. I just want to put it in the oven. He's like, okay. So then we're at the grocery store buying last minute veggies, whatever I need for dinner. And he buys a brine kit.
Oh.
He's like, let's brine it. And I said, okay.
I brine every year, by the way.
Yeah. And I've never. So I'm like, let's do it. So he buys the brine kit. We get it home. He brines it. And he here's the thing. I know I'm a control freak when it comes to certain things. Not everything, but there are certain things. When it comes to my kitchen, I can't tell you how many times I have been secretly furious when someone moves a fucking spatula to another drawer.
You're speaking my love language.
I can't.
I'm like, Jerry, the potato masher does not go where the forks are. How is that hard to figure out?
Well, and here's the other thing. I don't give a shit where you think it goes. I'm telling you where I want it.
Well, true. I agree. But I have a drawer designated for these things. And why some random, like, giant serving spoon ends up next to the teaspoons? I'm like, we've been together for 25 years. Have I ever put a serving spoon? No, it goes in the drawer.
Side note, there's a little tiny spatula. It's probably 5 or 6 inches long. It's got a little tiny little red rubber.
Mine's blue.
It's little. I love it.
It's perfect for lots of weird little things.
I always put it in the counter. I have a counter jar where I put all my spatulas and everything so I can just grab it. Well, everybody, and may I say, Daryl, keeps putting it in places. He goes, well, it's so little. I'm like, it does not matter what your opinion is. I want this spatula in this jar.
In the spatula jar.
Where I can reach for it when I need it when I'm making small sauces.
And it's thoughtless. Or whatever. I don't think about it. I know where it is. I just reach for it.
I don't think about it. I have no less than every time he unloads the dishwasher, I have to go seek it out. Well, now it's just missing.
Oh, that would irritate me because it's one of those, yeah.
And we have had tense discussions about this spatula.
Where is my spatula?
And I'm like, and I know this is not a big problem in the world of marriage, but it really fucking is. Because I'm like, where is it? And why isn't it where I want it? In fact, I was like, you know what? I'm going to humble myself. What if it's at the bottom of the jar? What? No, it's not there. No. I don't know where it went.
I'm going to assume that it was an innocent, like it's buried somewhere and I just haven't seen it. And I'm automatically assuming that Daryl did it, but really it's yeah, he did.
I know I'm going to find it eventually and I'm going to be like, God damn it.
I know.
And then I'm going to literally fucking glue it.
Where could it be?
I don't know, but it's driving me crazy. Anyway, so he decided that he was going to brine the turkey and I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And at one point I go, you realize that I am in charge of the food that we're going to consume on Thanksgiving. And he's like,
the turkey being the center.
He's like, yeah. And I'm like, so, I mean, the brine is fine because I've never done it.
I'm not going to quibble about the brine.
No, because he wants to do it.
But actually, that's kind of a big deal.
I mean, because I don't know now, I'm not sure.
It does change everything.
No shit. Oh. It was very salty.
Right.
Very salty.
I was going to say, if you've never brined, I researched it for weeks before I brined
I did the stupid thing where I salted the bird on top of it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Right.
But I did everything else and it was fine. But I used salted butter. I mean, I made a mistake because I didn't know how salty the brine would be.
You made it like you always make it.
Right.
And brining changes things.
He told me I could just do it the way I do it. No. And so
anyway, brine is literally a salt and water sugar mixture.
And here's the problem is it was a 21 pounder.
Right.
Which is not, I mean, I've had 24.
Same. Me too.
Big ones.
Mine was 19. I think that's why I overcooked it.
So, 4.5 hours because I don't stuff it anymore. So I'm like, it'll be done, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, do you want to do the thermometer? I'm like, no. He loves putting the thermometer in. I'm like, no, I know when a turkey is done. I've been doing this a really long time.
Right.
And so he's like, all right, fine. So at like 5 o'clock, 4:30 or something, I said, well, the turkey should be done. I put it in at 12:30, so it should be done.
Take it out, let it rest.
I opened it. I'm like, this ain't done. I could tell the legs usually fall off.
Yeah.
And they weren't falling off.
They slightly pull away from the body.
He's like, he goes, I took its temperature and it is done.
165, yeah.
And I said, all right. So he took it out. It rested. He cut into it. Raw as fuck.
Oh, God.
Raw as fuck. The breast was barely done. And I'm like,
the rest is definitely not done.
Right. So I said, so he started cutting it. And I go, this isn't done.
Like, it's got to go back in. So stop cutting.
He literally told me it was done. So I started making gravy.
Oh, God.
In the roasting pan.
And so you have a raw drip.
So now we have to put it back in. Everybody's at our house.
Ready to eat.
His mom, the children, their significant other, everybody's there. So we had to put it back in the oven and wait another 30 minutes or so.
Long, yeah.
He cut into it. There is no doubt that the dark meat was not completely cooked.
It was slightly under.
It was, so we didn't serve it. Everybody had turkey breast and it was fine.
Yeah.
But I was secretly angry.
Of course.
And so
it wasn't perfect.
No. And so then, and I was really stressed. And then I was saying something and I don't even know who I was talking to. And I said, here's the thing. I think that, because I was clearly a little upset about it. I said, I think here's the problem is that I withdrew the power for Daryl to make the turkey this year.
And why did I do that?
Minute. and I think he's trying to compensate with the brine and all the things and the temperature and telling me it's done and all this stuff. When I know,
and you're like, and why am I listening?
Because I felt bad.
I know you were trying to be
because I felt bad that I took.
You were
the
trying
power.
to what's the word? Compromise for the fact that you took away the smoking ability.
Typical colonizer. I took back what I gave on Thanksgiving, and so now he's paying. God. He's punishing. He didn't mean to punish.
No, I know, but he was trying to be involved.
He wanted to be involved in the turkey.
Right.
So to me, not the greatest year for food. And I assumed food intake this year.
Oh, people were like
starving? I had hardly any leftovers.
Wow.
And so I'm like,
did you have more people than usual?
No, I had less actually because Mackenzie, and she paid, decided to go to her to the significant other's parents' home. Yeah. And there were legitimate reasons, which I won't go into, that they went. But she also said that they'd be home, they'd be done probably because they're one of the families that eats at 2.
At like 2, yeah. So they were going to come after.
We don't eat till like 6 or 6:30.
Right.
So I'm like, you have plenty of time. She's like, we'll be there, blah, blah, blah. Well, they pushed it to 5:30.
Oh.
And so she shows up at my house almost at 8. Oh. And we're all sitting around eating already, and her siblings are not having it. They're mad
that she was late.
Yeah, they were like, "What do you mean she's not coming? This is not optional." Right. I don't understand. Everybody knows that Thanksgiving is where we have Thanksgiving is here, and forever it will be.
Right.
I've already said, I'm like, I give 0 fucks where you are for Christmas, but I want you here for Thanksgiving.
Right.
This is the year.
Yeah.
So anyway, she sat down, and she was trolled mercilessly.
Oh well, so you didn't have to do anything.
She turns to her boyfriend, and she's like, "We are never doing that again."
Well, let them have Christmas.
I told her that.
Christmas is a really significant holiday for most people.
I just don't care.
It isn't for me.
You know why I don't care?
For other people it is.
Because I know what it's like to have a handful of kids.
Yeah.
And I also understand how important it is to set your own traditions.
Yeah.
And Christmas is the one you start at.
Yeah.
You know? And then if the tradition is, oh no, mom has Thanksgiving, and then we all go there, and then we get to go to wherever we want for Christmas.
Right.
I'm down.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, to me, it doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't care. Honestly, I'd love to be traveling. I'd love to be in Hawaii for Christmas.
Oh my God, we're absolutely doing that.
I don't need to have 20 people gathering. I don't care.
Not only that, but Christmas tends to be an early morning thing.
Some people do the whole Christmas Eve.
I guess it depends.
And then they do the Christmas
they
Day,
do. You're right.
And then some people do Christmas Day dinner on Christmas Day.
I guess because I still have a little that, you get up in the morning and it's over with within an hour, you're done.
It's just like the movie.
Exactly. So the build-up is until the morning, and then everything kind of after that is like.
So Thanksgiving didn't go off without a hitch, but it was fine.
Well,
I can't complain.
We both had an interesting Thanksgiving.
Yes, I'm glad it's over.
I am too.
But I mean, obviously,
and now I feel really unprepared for Christmas.
Stephanie, woefully unprepared
because it's like feels like it's tomorrow, and I'm like, oh my God, my husband is just making me absolutely insane. So we decided, since my son is little and will not listen to the show, that he's finally going to get his PlayStation 5. He's been waiting.
Got one?
Well,
good luck.
You can get them. Now, they're not as expensive as they used to be years ago, but they're still very expensive.
Over retail.
Over retail, yes. But you can get them for about $700. I know. But that's much better.
Is that all he's getting?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically. Well, he'll get some stocking stuffers.
He kind of only gets one big gift a year, and then he gets a little smattering of little
That's
things.
A lot of money. I don't know about you parents out there. If you're spending more than that, then I guess I'm cheap. But to me, that's a lot of money, and he will get stocking stuffers, and candy and all of that. But so my husband being this guy, he still remembers when eBay was a good thing. Okay. When you could actually get deals that you could bid on real things that were legit. Yes. So he's forever looking for a deal. And I tell him specifically with items like this, look, if somebody is selling something online
and it's cheap,
there's a problem.
There's a reason.
I'm like, no one would sell a PlayStation 5 that's brand new in the box for anything less than what the maximum thing is going everywhere.
Of course.
Maybe a little bit if you're not buying it from Walmart.
Especially if you want to unload it.
Thank you. You could. I mean, you could easily list it on a legitimate website and get $600 for it.
Oh, for sure.
Easy. So if you're getting one for $300 from a guy in Georgia that wants a Venmo,
shit,
that's a problem.
Tell me he did it.
He did it.
Oh, fuck.
So he told me about it, and I was like, don't do it. That's dumb.
And did he get ripped off? Just say.
I don't know.
Oh,
he didn't even tell me he did it. because I went to go purchase one yesterday. I was like, I'm just buying it. I found one. It's at Walmart. Yeah. It's $600 and something. Yes, it's expensive, but I know it's legit. He wants the disc version.
You're gonna get it.
Yes. And it'll be here in a week. And so
he's like, well,
he goes, well, I already bought one. And I'm like, you did?
With what? With where?
And then all of a sudden I remembered.
You're like, no, Georgia?
I'm like, you did not do that. And he's like, well, yeah. He's like,
did you Venmo the fool?
It's real. I didn't even know about the Venmo thing. He's just, I assumed it was at least on a website of some sort.
Was it on Craigslist?
I don't know. I was so annoyed and grateful.
I can't wait to hear the end of this story when it happens. When we get back after our Christmas break, I can't wait to hear what happens.
So it's taking everything in me not to just go ahead and buy the one that I'm going to buy, because ultimately I'm going to buy it. Because this is not going to be a thing. He's going to have lost I'm glad it's only 300.
Yes,
and I'm glad it's his money, because like this is one of the reasons me and my girlfriend were talking about this the other day. We almost all keep separate checking accounts from our husbands.
I know.
We have joint accounts together, but we also have individual accounts. So
you should. Everyone should.
I mean, for some people it works, and I'm good with it. But for me,
no, I learned my lesson a long time ago. I have my own.
Yeah, for me, I'm so controlling, like you said, that I don't know. It makes me feel better. So,
well, you always need to be able, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. It's really important to be able to know that you can handle things if you need to.
Yes,
that's all.
So anyway, I'll be reserving $600 and something.
We'll find out. I can't wait. Ding, ding,
because mine
ding,
actually
ding.
is from Walmart, and I can do like shipping levels, like if I need it in 2 days, because this turns into a disaster.
Yes.
He's like, well, what if it ends up being legit? I'm like, well, we'll see about that.
Hopefully you didn't get a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3 taped together.
Well, now I'm stalking his texts just to see, like,
is this guy going, oh, it's coming, it's coming.
So anybody who knows anything about these PlayStations, there's two versions. There's a digital version where everything is done online. You buy your games online, you download them.
That's honestly the way to do it.
Well, Jeff, since he's had a PlayStation,
he's got games.
He actually has games. I think not a lot, but he has some pretty significant disc games.
I thought the digital you could do both.
No, there is no slot for the disc.
Okay. So he wants to access to his.
So so real gamers will want both. Okay. So they can, just in case there's a deluxe version.
Absolutely.
Sony is brilliant of their marketing, so they want you to have the more expensive one.
Of course they do.
So those ones are coveted, and that's the one that I found.
Of course.
And I asked him about that, and so I was reading his text messages this morning, and the first thing this morning his text was, "This is a disc version, right?" ?
Nothing.
Crickets.
He's not getting anything.
I don't know.
He just lost $300.
I don't know.
Okay, I can't wait to hear what happens after the holidays. You must let me know.
Isn't it mean though that I
no, it's just you know what I.
It's just one of those unexplainable things that
some people. I dated someone who was like that, where they took everything at face value because they
said, "Oh well, I talked to it's a kid. He got 2 for Christmas." No one goes out and has a relative that accidentally buys the same very expensive PlayStation twice.
Worst case,
auntie didn't know uncle was getting it. Please.
Yeah. Best case scenario is this. Some 15-year-old has 2 PlayStation 5s and he wants $300 for the holidays.
Maybe.
Best case scenario. And then he tells his mom, I sold one of my PlayStations to a guy in California. She's like, what the hell are you talking about?
He spoke to the child's father on the phone. I'm like, well, that's perfectly legitimate then.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure everything's just totally on the up and up.
Oh my God. So yes. Okay. Next time we record, we will tell you
can't wait
the season finale.
Also for Thanksgiving I had to say goodbye to one of my pets.
I know. Oh my God.
Miss Angelica Pickles. She was she had a harrowing beginning to her story. She was thrown over the fence of our stepdad's mother's house, if you can put that together.
Oh, is that where that's right.
So she got thrown over the fence.
She was literally abandoned, right?
Our step grandmother heard her crying, went out and got her. She was completely newborn, had no business not being separated from her mother. Clearly the runt. Mm-hmm. And so
they probably just thought she would die.
Hopefully, or that someone would just take her, which is usually what people do. They just leave kittens anywhere, and then somebody hopefully will have a heart. So she took the kitten in, fed it, gave it whatever, and then finally decided that she couldn't have a cat, that it was just too much work, and she already had a Chihuahua, and she didn't like the ruckus it was causing.
Right.
So our brilliant mother decided to take the kitten and bring it to my house.
Without your permission?
Without my permission, and said, oh, well, I figured, you already have 2, so what's a third? And or one, we did have 2, one ran away. Anyway, brought it in. She was barely 2 pounds, and she was weaned now, but she was really little. And so I got her wet food, and I had to feed her with a straw because she didn't know how to eat out of a bowl.
Oh my God, poor baby.
And so, she was shaking. She was eating so much. She was so hungry.
Oh my God, this poor thing.
And I'm like, what the fuck was going on when you were quote unquote caring for this kitten? The thing is
They're probably like putting a saucer of milk. Go ahead, drink.
Probably. And so, not to mention, never to this day litter box trained properly.
Yeah.
So
she was too young.
So Angelica grew up peeing wherever she wanted. Ultimately, she started deciding to pee on our kitchen next to our kitchen table, our table that we ate at, our dining room table.
Oh, lovely.
So one leg of our dining room table was always reeking of urine.
Ruined, yeah.
Ruined drywall. Like we had to replace 4 feet of drywall.
I know that cat because I've had cats my whole adult life too. Yes. That stuff is like acid.
It's damaging beyond. There's almost nothing worse than cat pee.
It's worse than dog pee.
It ruins homes. It ruins homes. The pee was in the foundation. It was so bad. We had to buy special spray to eliminate it out of the foundation of this rental that we were living in before we could move.
I get it.
Anyway.
Been there, done that.
17 and a half years later, she decided she had had enough. And when Daryl and I had been watching her, and it literally consumed my whole life. We were hand feeding her. We had literally turned this studio into a hospice.
Yeah.
She had a bed where she could just lean over and drink water with barely even leave. And I'm like, what are we doing? And she could get up and walk around and stuff, but she was so rail thin.
She was so tired.
And so I told Daryl, I said, I want her just to fall asleep and be done with it.
Yeah.
And we really thought that would happen because she was sleeping a lot, and
that's what they do. Yeah.
Sometimes I'd come in and she'd be on my bed sleeping. Like she clearly could jump up 4 feet
if she wanted to. Yeah.
So then something happened after one day of me saying that. We both started looking up mobile vets to come and say goodbye to her, to come to our house. And I said, it's really expensive. And when I say expensive, it's like $300.
Yeah.
To do it at the vet, it's like $200 to say goodbye to your cat. It's just not cheap.
I know. Why do they do that to you?
I don't know. So and it's so annoying because it's like the one thing that you have to do.
Well, that's why they charge so much. I know.
I hate it.
And it's heartbreaking to come to that decision. And then you have
my God.
So imagine the families who don't have, like, that's significant money for them.
Do you know what they do? You turn it over to the vet and they do it. Which is you're awful. Not there. And then you're just not there. And they just do it quickly. I'm like, so I don't know. It's rough. So anyway, I have had a fairly good, not good, like, haha, but I had a good attitude about it. I'm like, look, this is part of having a pet.
Yeah.
When they're loved like this is what you do.
Right.
So then I saw her it was on a Tuesday, and I was like, okay, my gut is telling me we cannot allow this to go on any longer.
Yeah.
Everything I've read said it will not be peaceful.
Yeah.
Your experience indicated to me it will not be peaceful.
With the dog?
Cat.
Which one?
Lauren's.
Yes.
That's how it goes.
She was young, though.
It doesn't matter.
She was like 4 or 5.
We spoke with the vet, and the vet said it won't be pretty. It's the process that animals go through. They seize, they meow, it doesn't matter. It's not always
that way. I did have a cat die in its sleep.
She said it's rare.
Okay, then I got lucky.
You got lucky, and I thought about that. I'm like, good for her, So anyway, so I came into Daryl and I said, I think we need to call and decide to take her in. He goes, she's been with us for 17 years. We're calling the mobile vet. She can die here. We're like, okay, cool. And then I just lost it.
Because you knew it was like...
I mean, I cried so hard. And I'm like, God damn it, I didn't even want this cat.
Yeah, but I mean, it's out 17 years.
Of course.
That's a lifetime.
Oh my God.
Some of the kids were born and grew up in that time.
Well, interestingly, so Mackenzie was done with her externship. So she drove up on Wednesday. We were all together. The vet came in, could not have been nicer.
Oh, thank goodness.
Malia brings her downstairs and she said, well, I mean, obviously she's not my cat, you know, she's not my patient because she does this as well. She has a practice. And she said, but just looking at her, she's probably, she has hypothermia or hypoglycemia. Or something like that. And then she probably has cancer because she was really, really thin at this point. And Stephanie, we had pictures of her from 2 weeks prior. She had lost all her weight.
Yeah.
Like that fast.
They get that geriatric cancer.
It's so weird.
It is.
Yeah. So we're like, okay, so we got to hold her the whole time. I mean, it was so lovely. I mean, as lovely as something like that can be.
Right.
And we all were really good about it. And she's like, I'll step outside. The second she stepped outside, we just lost it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry again. It's been a month.
Oh.
Not a month. It hasn't been that long. But anyway.
It was right before Thanksgiving, right?
Yes. I'm like, is it when it was? I don't know.
I think it was the week before.
Yes, it was. It was.
I was off work that day and
it was literally the week before. You're correct.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm like, fuck, you know, I'm like, I can't believe I'm crying like this, but.
Why? She's a family member.
The girls were so great. And it was like, and then Daryl, he kept walking away. I go, honey, do you want to be with us? He's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And he kept walking away. And then he did the thing that I hate more than anything is he took photos. And I'm like, he goes, well, you might want them. I'm like, I don't want them.
Well,
see them. I did look at them and
Jerry did
fine.
that with our dog.
I mean, it's fine.
He didn't tell me he did it. I found them in his camera roll.
He told me. Well, and he told me that he goes, officially, she was just sleeping when I took the pictures.
Yeah.
Because they sedated her.
Oh,
She sedated her first. And it took her like 5 minutes to fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then she did it and she was gone within 30 seconds.
It's quick.
It was so fast and peaceful.
Quick,
and I'm like, this should not be so expensive. Everyone should be able to do this.
I agree.
Everybody. There's got to be, is there a fund? Is there something we can donate to so that everyone can have this experience? Because I told her, I said, well, I was just really worried. I didn't want her to seize and meow and do all the things that she wouldn't be in pain per se, but it would be really disturbing.
It's hard to watch. It's traumatizing.
She said it is very rare for them to just go to sleep and not wake up.
Yeah.
For cats specifically.
Oh.
And so I'm like, yeah. And I didn't want to endure it because then I would have like rushed her to the vet. Yeah. And it would have been harrowing and terrible.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I've done that. That's what happened to my cat.
And then of course, because Daryl he's just so good to his family. Mm-hmm. He said, we're cremating her and we want her ashes. Don't do it with the group. I want it all, but I want her to be cremated. Bring her back.
That's extra, by the way.
Yes, it is.
I did it too. $150 just for that.
That's correct. And so then he goes, and then it will come back to you. They'll have it delivered to you. Right. We're like, okay. So she was delivered very quickly. Yeah. We got her right away. And of course, Daryl chose this beautiful mahogany box.
Aww.
So now we have the ashes.
He's so sweet.
So of course, Molly and I, who are so damn morbid, we immediately opened the box because we wanted to see the ashes.
It's just a little baggie.
It was
Did they put it in a baggie?
So small.
Yeah.
So small. So
I don't think they give you the whole thing. Maybe they do.
I think they do because then we opened up Arthur's ashes from our old cat that died, and he was way bigger.
He was bigger.
And it was a big old bag of ashes. And I'm like, man, this is fascinating. So of
Jamie,
course,
you're so weird.
We put everything back, of course, and I asked my son, Tyler, I'm like, Tyler, do you want to see Angela or Angelica? And he's like, I am not ready for that. He couldn't even come over.
Poor baby.
He refuses. He can't with the
He
with
is
the
so
loss.
sensitive. He kind of reminds me of me in that way.
He cannot. And I'm like, hey, do you want to see her box? And he's like, I do not. And I'm like, all right. That's fine. You don't have to.
He's like, I know what happened. I don't need to see it.
He was so heartbroken.
Aww.
And I was like, God. And, even Kenzie, she's like, Angelica, you were so good. You raised all of us. And I'm like, stop it.
Oh, my God. I would have been freaking sobbing.
I was out of my mind. I'm like, this is worse than terms of endearment crying. Like, I can't with this.
Well, I'm really glad that you guys got to go through that together as a family.
Thank goodness.
That your children were there and they got to say goodbye. And
me too, especially the girls, because those two specifically were like, that was their kitty.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Now, and I, of course, per the use, just like when you have phantom baby kick, when you've had a baby, you can feel the baby kicking months after you've had the baby.
Right. Or way before they're actually kicking.
Yes. And then
when you're like 2 months pregnant, you're like, I think I felt something.
You're so sure of it. So now I'm like, I hear her meow, her weird meh, all the time. Not as much lately, but I mean, I even see her a couple of times. And it's like hallucinating.
It's almost your brain playing tricks on you.
It totally totally. And I did it when Arthur died, our first cat, and now Angelica. And so I told Daryl, I said, we have a lot of pets. Yeah. We have 3 dogs, and now we still have 2. We have our daughter's cat that we're watching while she's in school. And then we have Isabel, who's 13, by the way.
I know. Jamie, you're speaking. I'm telling you, my favorite, my cat, who hates everyone, by the way. He's mean. He scratches, he bites, he attacks dogs.
Great.
He's so mean, but he loves me, to the point to where he'll drool when he gets near me and stuff, because he's like, I just love you so much.
We have a drooling cat as well.
Yeah, he's 14.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So when this happened to you,
yes,
I was already like, I've been saying it. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like if he even stops cleaning himself for one day, I'm like, why are you stopping to clean your fur?
Stephanie, I know.
And then the next day he'll be immaculate again. I'm like, oh, thank God.
And that's the problem is when they hit a certain age and you start immediately, you go into denial though.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, they're just old. And like
yeah, but they can't be old forever.
Daryl and I are just we're so sure that Sunny and Bodega are going to die within months of each other. We're so afraid.
Lauren has a 14-year-old golden retriever.
Yeah.
And every time I talk to her, I have to ask, how's Max? Yeah, how's Max? And she's like, he's good. And I'm so relieved that he's good because he's a big dog too. And big dogs don't.
Average age is 9 and 10.
I know. So the fact that he's 14 is an amazing thing.
Bodega's 13 and a half. He'll be 14 in July. Sunny is 14 and a half. So he'll be 15 in March. Shelties are supposed to be dead around 12.
I know.
So and when I go to the vet, I always say, I'm like, well, he's on borrowed time because he's well past his average life expectancy. And they're like, he's actually really good. His kidneys are good, blah, blah, blah. He's got arthritis or whatever. Bodega, same. They're like, he can't be 13. And I'm like, he is. Mm-hmm. And they're like, he's so healthy. And I'm like, well,
thank goodness.
He's getting old. And winter will age an animal so fast.
It's true.
Sasha's just like, I'm bored with all you senior citizens. What are we doing?
I want to play.
So sorry. Okay, so moving on from death to this, we're watching Wednesday on Netflix.
Somebody else I know is too. They like it.
I freaking love it.
Oh, okay. Because this girl is a millennial, and so I'm like,
oh no, it's so good. Well, if you love Tim Burton, you'll love it. I don't know if you're into that kind of stuff. You're not. Okay, so
my daughter is very much so, though.
She probably is obsessed with it. It's so good. It's so well made. So good. And Jenna Ortega, who plays Wednesday, she's adorable. God, she's so cute. She makes looking goth cute.
I've seen the trailer.
She's so good.
Because it's on Netflix, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
8 episodes. I think I've done 5 or 6.
On my list is Swimmers. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that, but it's the true story of the girls who escaped Syria.
Oh my God.
They came to the United States and they basically just walked into a swim club where a well-known trainer worked, and they just said, "We want you to train me."
Literally, was expecting you to say it was about IVF or something.
No, and it's her story of escaping Syria and becoming an Olympic athlete.
I love it.
It's episodes and it's
Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Okay, cool.
It just came out, so I'm looking forward to watching that.
And then the other thing, I simply refuse, but you're a little different than me. Have you watched Casey Anthony's?
I refuse to watch it.
Okay, thank you.
You know what?
Okay, good.
I watched on TikTok, there was a girl that's like, let me save you 3 hours. And she's like, so she literally did like a summary, like a recap.
Sure.
And it's exactly what I thought it would be. She's like, she's a liar.
She's a fucking liar.
She's never going to admit it. No. And if you want to watch her lie for 3 hours,
by all means,
all these years later, watch it. But I don't need to watch it to know that she's a liar.
Here's the
she killed her baby.
She killed her child.
And she's a cold-hearted sociopath who feels zero remorse or responsibility for it 15 years later.
And I think one of the issues is that there's a whole generation of women specifically who weren't around or paying attention to Casey Anthony when she was on trial and all of her behavior leading up to her arrest and all of that stuff. So there's like, well, I don't know, her dad, and
there's always people like that.
Well, and there's always like, well, her father raped her or SA'd her, however they say it now.
Yeah, sexual assault.
And she said that she would never leave her daughter and yet left her daughter with her. There are so many things that are... Rosie O'Donnell had the audacity to say that she believes Casey Anthony.
She's on TikTok about it.
Thinks I won't watch her father did it. And I'm like, are you out of your goddamn mind,
Rosie O'Donnell has never birthed a child.
I'm
not saying that you cannot have children that you didn't birth, that you don't have biological feelings for. But I will say that I feel like that a little bit. And if you're a mother
it's a
and
strange
you've had a child,
genetic tie that you cannot replicate.
And it really you can't. And so if you've had a child,
actually,
you know that there is no way that motherly instinct that you have, that bear, you know, like you would kill someone.
It's a primal instinct.
It is.
Now, I do believe
she
that
doesn't have it.
With women who have the misfortune of not being able to, or don't want to, maybe
whatever the case is,
have a child. But if it's a surrogate or adoption, you will fiercely love those children like yourself. But there is a weird genetic primal code that is, for the most part, some women don't get it, which is Casey Anthony.
Yeah, she doesn't have it. I've seen other women like that too, by the way.
I would literally go into a war-torn torture chamber to get my child.
Yes.
I would do anything.
Now you understand when like parents are on a beach and their kid gets sucked away in a rogue wave and they just jump in and they die with them. Yeah. That would be me.
Me too.
I know I would probably drown, but there would be nothing to stop me.
I would not stand there helpless.
No. Even though they're like, if you jump in, you're going to die too. Okay.
Well, you might as well because I can't survive
I'm not going to even...
You couldn't survive the guilt of not.
I know you could not physically stop me from getting into that water to try to save my child.
There's nothing. In fact, if my child jumped off a building, I'd probably follow them to grab them. I mean, I'm not kidding. I've had nightmares of my daughter falling into the water with sharks, and I've jumped in.
Right.
I've literally had that dream.
Yes.
And sharks are like the scariest thing for me.
So for
Casey Anthony to be so blasé about it, it's already...
There's just nothing that you can... No. And I think there's a lot of people that feel like, well, if she was acquitted of this crime... There is got to be a fucking doubt. I mean, O.J. Simpson was a fucking acquitted of a crime. That man slit his wife's throat and killed that young man.
He beheaded her. I mean...
Yes.
Here's the deal. Casey Anthony is a baby killer.
She's a narcissist and
the fact that she walks around, apparently people who have had interactions with her, she likes both the positive and the negative interactions because it means she's getting attention.
She's a narcissist.
She's fucking insane. Her and Cody Brown should get together.
For sure.
They could just light that candle.
She reminds me of that bitch that tried to kill Joey Buttafuoco's wife.
Yes.
Amy, whatever her name was. Amy... But not Buttafuoco, whatever her name was.
I do remember her.
That bitch went on to use that
forever
for fame to this day.
What is she doing?
She's been a porn star. She's literally like the bottom of the barrel, disgusting. But she has used that platform to make herself, Z-list celebrity.
She basically maimed a poor woman.
She tried to murder that woman, an innocent woman who didn't even know her husband was having an affair.
Did Joey Buttafuoco die? Isn't he dead?
He may have died. He might have gotten cancer and died or something. He might still be around. He's a sleazy.
He was such a disgusting car mechanic.
But the fact that people use those kinds of to be in the spotlight and enjoy. I'm like, you are so disgusting. Like, you're being in the spotlight. You're getting a 3-hour interview because you murdered your 2-year-old, and you're sitting there like you're a fucking movie star.
Well, and what's fascinating is any kind of shit, like, oh, well, Scott Peterson, he could be innocent. I'm like, shut the
Jamie,
fuck up.
Jamie, our mother said that to me.
No, absolutely
She told me
not.
during the trial, she goes, I think he's going to get away with it. I don't know that he's guilty. And I looked at her, I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
Are you insane?
Are you kidding me? Who else would want to kill an 8-month pregnant woman on Christmas Eve?
No.
Who? A random burglar?
I simply will not even. I will not with that. I'm like, no, this is not CSI. Mm-mm. There's not some magic DNA strand sitting somewhere at the bottom of the sea.
What's that saying? If it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck.
For the most part, it is.
It's a fucking duck.
Technically, you can get away with murder if there's not enough evidence.
For sure.
But it's clear.
It's a technicality, though. I mean, you get away. So I love our justice system. I happen to love the law. I know that it's not perfect, but I think it's as good as it can be for a man-made system. Mm-hmm. So when people get off, it's always terrible when you know they're guilty. Like when Casey Anthony got off, I was more angry at the prosecution and the investigators that screwed up. Yeah,
they did screw up.
They did so much of it. And that's the reason why she got away with it. Yeah. Because our justice system is designed that you must prove without a reasonable doubt that somebody did this. Yes.
And if they... I know that now they will take years to prove it.
They'll wait
because they're like, it's worth it.
That's why they're doing it with this.
Once we get it,
the Delphi murders, the 2 13-year-olds that were murdered 5 years ago. So they've arrested a guy,
but he's just sitting
They
there.
won't say shit.
Nope. They're like, we're going to make this bulletproof.
They have sealed his preliminary hearing, which is normally super public. They literally are like, we are so
this guy
determined.
ain't getting away with it.
The guy that the sheriff of that town, he hates that man with such a white hot passion.
I've seen it. I have seen it.
Yes.
It literally is something.
It has taken part of his soul. Yeah,
for sure.
But they know everything. He knows what
exactly
happens
what
to
he did
those
to them.
girls. Yep. And we don't know any of that.
Well, we will.
So whatever it is, it must be really terrible.
I'm sure it is. Casey Anthony is one of the worst people on the planet walking around today.
And the way she is, like, she was just videoed at a concert.
What
did you see that?
What kind of concert was that?
It was some kind of concert, but she was like in the VIP section.
She was on the side stage partying, and I'm like, you make me so ill.
And who let her be there?
Well, I mean, based on the group, I don't even think it wasn't of anybody of importance. It was disgusting. Period.
I would be so humiliated as whoever they are.
All I know is that if you watch it, I don't pay for it.
No, you can watch. I don't
get it for free somewhere. Yeah. Unless you're already, I refuse to watch it. I refuse to entertain people.
I don't want to hear the same thing. Yeah, no.
I don't want to hear it. She is a murderer.
Yep.
And just like I don't like to talk about Duggar anymore. Like, it's the same thing. There's nothing more to say. He's a fucking pedophile.
Yes.
And she's a fucking baby killer.
Yeah.
End. But anyway, I was curious if you were going to watch it or not. No. I know I simply would not, but I thought maybe you would for the sake of...
No, and you know what? I never watched any of the OJ stuff either after he got acquitted.
I didn't either.
The only thing I ever watched was when he got arrested for the robbery and he went to prison.
Oh, when he tried to steal his stuff back?
Yeah, that gave me joy.
It did give me joy.
Because I was like, okay, so this is the only time this guy's ever going to serve any prison time.
I know.
And I hope it was horrible.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you the story, and I'm going to tell you why I'm a bad person. Okay.
Oh God, you and me both. What do you mean? It couldn't have anything to do with the TikToks you've been sending me.
No.
The woman with extra skin this morning.
Okay, that was a private moment for you and I.
But you know what's so funny is I had already watched like half the TikToks you sent me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I was going to send this to you.
Okay, good. So we're kind of on the same page.
We are so on the same page.
Okay,
so on the same page.
Okay, so this happened a while ago, like in the beginning of November. So it's like, been a month, but I wanted to talk about it because we didn't talk about it last time. So Denise Richards and her husband were involved in a road rage incident.
Oh, shocking. He's a lunatic.
No, it wasn't him though.
He is a lunatic, Jamie. He thinks he can cure cancer.
Okay, hold on. Let me just read the story and I'll tell you
holistic things.
What my first thought was. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum was on the passenger side of a truck being driven by her husband and headed to a film studio in LA for work. As the couple slowed down to look for a parking, a driver behind them got enraged and opened fire in their direction.
Oh my God.
And that's the incident. And then the guy sped off.
I didn't know there was a gun involved.
Nobody got hit, but their car was shot up, but nobody got hit.
That's scary.
So here's the problem that I'm having with myself is that I'm like, well, what was he doing to piss everybody off?
Yeah.
My guess is he was brake checking, driving slow, doing things I'm looking for a parking spot, asshole.
Right.
You know, all of that.
One of those.
Any behavior that was occurring who pissed off this guy, but this is why you cannot piss off anyone anymore. You don't know who has a gun anymore.
You literally have to be like the most passive.
They didn't deserve it.
No.
He could have killed someone.
Easily.
It's horrifying.
Yes.
However, mind yourself, asshole.
Yeah. Like we're in a new time.
You cannot.
You can no longer be that that in the car.
You can't have road rage outwardly. You can scream all you want inside, but do not give them the finger. Don't
even look.
No mean mugging. Don't roll down your window thinking you're going to do anything. They'll blow you off. They will shoot you.
People will kill you for less.
For nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing other than you were trying to be an alpha male in your fucking car.
Exactly.
And so, of course, I think someone said something like that. And then she responded and she's just like, gee, I guess I should be glad that we weren't shot in the neck, asshole. And I'm just like, listen, I'm not saying that it's appropriate, but you know her husband was being a dick.
Jamie, he is such a fucking asshole.
That's what I'm saying.
So she was a Real Housewife, and for one season, she could not handle.
She doesn't have the stamina.
She just has way too many skeletons in her closet. And so does he, by the way.
I mean, she was married to Charlie Sheen, for the love of God.
Right? But in her own right, she has anybody who would be married to Charlie Sheen, for one.
Let's just put it this way. She looked like the good parent.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm just like,
so when they were on the show, everybody hated her and him because of most of the husbands on Real Housewives, they will make cameos.
Sure.
They will be at the big events.
They always look like assholes,
but they're always kind of the background, the smart ones. Yeah, the smart ones are.
Yeah, because they're like, I'm having nothing to do with it.
He was a front and center guy.
Oh, he loved it.
And he always wanted to be at the table with the conversations with the other housewives.
God.
No one wants to hear from you, okay? We don't care what you have to say.
It's not Real Housewives of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why they were very unpopular on the show and they didn't last. But one of the scenes, they were mic'd and one of their favorite things to do was when the heat would get real, they would walk out of events and dinners. She'd be like, I'm not doing this. I'm out of here. And she would walk off all the time. And they'd be like, look, you're filming a show. And you can't just walk out every time.
Not to mention that this is what people pay to see.
Exactly.
They want the drama. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Exactly.
That's why they hired a bunch of actresses.
She couldn't do it. So she would always walk off, and they're walking off set of an event one time, and they're both mic'd. And she says to him, because they're still filming them leaving, she's like, don't say anything until we get in the car. She was this was a very real
conversation. She knew.
She's like, don't say one. We're mic'd. We're being filmed. She's
don't
like,
say anything.
Shut the fuck up.
And
basically.
he's like, what?
Yeah, he couldn't do it.
Oh, God.
So he goes, if you don't stop talking to me like that, he goes, I'm going to fucking pinch you so fucking hard. And something like that. And of course, Bravo put it in the episode.
Of course they did. They need drama.
We all knew right then and there, this motherfucker
is an asshole.
Hurts her. Yeah.
Oh,
and even if it's pinching or it's pushing,
it doesn't matter.
We all knew immediately what kind of guy he was. So that with him being the center of attention at all the events and all that, we were just like, this guy's a fucking narcissist. He is an abuser.
Yep.
And I can't stand him.
Well, I mean, so the road rage
he was
incident,
definitely doing something in your road rage incident story.
Listen, I know that it's not okay that somebody one-upped him with a gun.
I agree.
But I bet you didn't humble him at all.
I agree. Yeah.
I bet it didn't humble him at all. Okay, so finally, we must discuss Sister Wives.
Oh, I'm behind.
Oh, you don't have to be.
I've been watching
Stephanie.
like clips and TikToks and stuff.
So that's what I
didn't watch the whole show.
This is what I wanted to discuss this week. Janelle's proceeds from the Vegas home were given to Cody to pay for Robin's $1 million home that they're living in. Mary's proceeds from her Vegas home were also taken to pay for that $1 million home that they live in.
Oh, so she's the only one that owns her house of all of them.
Christine owned her own house, and Cody was on that deed. At some point, they did a quit claim and got him off, and then she sold it, and she got like $300,000 in equity out of it.
And she got the money. But she also, like in August of this year, has given up the lot in Coyote Pass. Well, right, but if the way you're describing it, it was probably. Everybody gave all their money, and that was probably their ambition in the first place, and nobody really wanted to do anything to do with it.
So
Christine couldn't care less.
She does not. She never wanted to live there.
She's like, I don't give a fuck about my portion of Coyote Pass.
So I'm finally starting to understand. Now, I'm with you. I have not watched a complete episode for almost 2 years.
I have them DVR'd.
Here's why. I delete them. I just go to TikTok and social media because I cannot tolerate Cody's behavior. He's abusive.
Yeah, he is.
And the fact that they are using it as fodder for entertainment bothers me.
Yep. I agree.
The take is this. Christine wanted to leave him when they were in Vegas because she just came out with an interview with People Magazine like yesterday.
Yeah, I saw her.
And she basically, looks so good. Oh God, she looks great.
She just looks like she lost like 10 years.
She did. Of her life. She legitimately,
she looks younger.
Eliminated all the stress in her life.
Yeah.
But she said that in Vegas she wanted to leave, and Janelle said, "Girl, that's fine, but don't leave until you can stand on your own financially. Because if you can't, you'll be right back, and then you're really fucked." And she's like, and I remembered that. So that's when she started doing Plexus and LuLaRoe, and she got really aggressive. And I'm guessing that she stopped giving a lot of money
to the family,
quote unquote, family fund.
Yeah.
Which could have also caused some rift for her and
for
Cody.
Sure. Well, which is why he was like, look, the way he talks about her.
Oh God, he's horrible.
Like right? And I'm like she was his property and she had the audacity, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, I hate him so bad.
The consensus is this, that when they first started filming 100 years ago, they were making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
And Cody had some creative control over editing.
Right.
And then there was a time period where the ratings just plummeted because
they almost got canceled.
And Cody said, yo, we'll take a pay cut. And they're like, that's fine. We take over creative control. And he's like, okay, well.
To keep it going, yeah.
TLC decided we are no longer going to pretend like this is a happy fam. We know the reality. So they have been so eloquent in their editing from the time they took over till today. This is why polygamy is a bad idea.
Right.
This is why polygamy does not work in the United States, because men like Cody are the ones that are attracted to it, where they're abusive and they manipulate and they find women who have no self-esteem or are born in it and don't know any different.
Right.
I don't think Robin's all that happy, to be fair. Stephanie, when I look at her, all I see is our stepmother.
Oh my God, me too.
I hate her so much.
That's probably why I hate her so bad.
I hate her so much because she even acts like her.
She does.
She acts just like her. She will absolutely sacrifice anybody else, including a child, to save her own fucking ass.
Well, it's so funny because the way that our stepmother's life ended, the marriage ended, all
she's
of that.
alive.
Yeah, I know she's alive, but I mean...
You just said how her life ended. I'm like, well...
Well, I don't mean like, look, like the part of her that had anything to do with our life. That's what I should say.
Correct.
So when our father, when they divorced...
Yes.
Of course, we had long since been estranged, but...
Yes.
Still, that was like the official, she is no longer associated to anybody that is biologically associated to me.
Correct.
Anymore. Bye. I just found that so satisfying.
Oh God, it felt good.
It took a long time. Like, granted, it took him 20 years, but I always knew that that's how it would end anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This was not a forever thing.
And I think, for me, there is some satisfaction in the fact that those were probably 20 of the most miserable years of her life.
Yeah. She got exactly what she wanted, and it was hell.
And it was hell and good. I hope it was hell.
So pleased. The problem with people like Robin or our ex-step monster is that they never really know that they're suffering. Like, they don't get it because they're so...
I think she does now.
Selfish.
Yeah.
That they don't see how bad it is.
Right.
And they may never will because they're so fucking dumb.
Right. She is dumb, too.
Dumb as a box of rocks.
Which always kind of surprised me about Dad, because Dad generally likes intelligent women.
But intelligent women wise up way too quick.
That's true.
They just go, bye.
That's the truth.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that was one of the things that annoyed me about her the most, was how fucking stupid she was. I'm like,
she was so stupid.
Like, I was smarter than her when I was 13.
Oh, Stephanie, we ran circles around her, and that actually was the only joy we had.
Was it purposeful, or were we just that way? Purposeful?
Oh no, we were.
I don't know why I did that.
No, it was purposeful.
Yeah, it
was totally on purpose. We hated her so much, we found ways to torture her.
Yeah, see, I feel like we were just surviving all the time.
We were surviving. Are you kidding me? We absolutely were. But you know what? I have no regrets.
I don't either.
I have no regrets.
No. I think we did a fine job of survival. And,
yeah,
and
but
we really didn't have to go through it for as long as like some people do. Mm-hmm. We wised up, like you said, and smart people wise up pretty quick. By 13 or 14, I was I'm done with him. Like, you never need to be a part of my life again.
Never.
I'm fine with that.
I will say though, when you and I together were being absolutely horrific to her.
I wish I had the brain I have now then. Oh, God. I would have like physically assulted her.
I'm like, I wish I had the bank account that I have now so I can deal with her. But no, I just remember, I vividly recall times where you and I were like, like, we're like, watch this. We were so awful.
You're going to have to remind me just for funsies.
Oh God. And then this is how bad it was. We would do something horribly evil to her.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't even know.
We paid the price though, too.
No.
Not always.
No. Dad would be like, good job, guys.
He did?
Oh, yeah. He was admirable. He admired our evil. He admired it.
But we did suffer a couple times.
Of course we suffered. Every once in a while, she would get back at us, and we would be mercilessly in trouble.
Yeah.
But I remember laying there one time, I got in a lot of trouble, and it was late at night, and I was laying in bed going, you know what? Worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I never regretted making her life difficult. Never.
No, I didn't either. I think some of because, I think we've talked about this on the show that we were abused. Have we?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I think some of the beatings that I took are the more significant ones were during that time.
Absolutely.
So
because she's like Robin in the sense that she's like,
them with her.
I would much rather have them get beaten than me.
See, and the funny thing is I don't know if it was because my survival techniques were different than yours, obviously, because there's so much of that I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I have vivid memories.
I didn't know she got abused until you told me. I never knew that Dad beat the shit out of her.
Oh,
I really didn't.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's enough of that. Do you have any awkward moments?
I have an ugly moment.
Okay, so I think it was when Daryl and I did a show together. I'm not sure. Did I tell you about how I spilled flour all over myself? I was taking flour off of the top shelf and I spilled it all over myself. And I looked like a movie where like literally I was all white.
Funny.
I was wearing slippers at the time and I ruined them. I couldn't get the flour out because they have like the lanolin in them. Yes. So there was just flour. So I bought some new slippers and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get those new ones that are all really popular. They're fuzzy and they have the crisscross on the front.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So I bought some of those. Too big. I hate them. So then I bought the UGG version in my size because I know what size I wear in UGGs. They have like an almost 2-inch
like
thick,
the bottom.
The whole bottom is like 2 inches. And it's a hard 2 inches. So you can wear them outside or whatever. And they're not covered. So my little paws stick out. And they're really cute. They're white fuzzies. They're really cute. But there's a wedge on them. And so I'm getting used to wearing them.
Okay.
They come with a little strap so that I don't fling myself out of them. So there's a strap around my ankle. Anyway, so I've been trying to wear them. I don't like them.
Oh.
I hate them, but I wear them because it's the only thing I have.
You're like, and I bought them and now I must use them.
I did. And so
And this is my second pair that I didn't like.
Exactly. At what point I'm becoming princess in the
I know. You're like, I'm going to have like 5 pairs of slippers.
And I hate them all. And so I'm like, I just miss my old slippers. And so anyway...
Mom. She's like that.
I'm walking around. Then that's exactly where I get it.
I mean, you know what I mean?
I have yet to
She buys 10 of everything. The only thing I'll say about Mother is she has the tenacity to return things. I do not.
I don't either.
She'll take them back.
I'll just keep them.
She keeps the receipt in the box and all the stuff. And she's like, oh no, I'm returning these. So.
I get, Mom.
I can't do it.
Mom is pro at returning shit to Sephora.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, because they'll take back anything.
But she's always been that way.
She used to work in retail. She knows the cosmetics world very well. Okay. She walks in, she's like, this burned my face. Yeah. I want my $40 back. And they're like, here you go. They don't care.
No, because they just charge it back to
They just don't care. Yeah, they're like, whatever. Anyway, so I have these stupid slippers that I've been wearing. And so Daryl said, hey, come look at the tree. He had fixed something light on the light, the top, because our tree is up. And I said, okay, cool. So I come out of the laundry room wherever I was and I walk. Now there's tile and then there's a little guard and then the wood flooring. And I walk and I hit that guard, the little 1-inch guard that separates the two tiles and the flooring. And on this fucking wedge, I twist my ankle on it. And I go, woo, and I like wobble and I fall forward and Daryl grabs me and I literally fall into Daryl. Luckily, he's stronger than he may appear to me. No, and so he grabbed me fine. But we were literally like looking eye to eye at each other. Nose. I was like, help. And he's just like, and he goes, in your face. And I was like... and then I was like, oh no. And I was like so embarrassed. I could barely even look at you while I'm saying it.
I wasn't there, so I'm just,
but I'm so embarrassed.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And why? In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I have no makeup on. I look like shit on top of everything else. And I'm falling into this man's body. And I was like, oh my God. He goes, are you all right? I'm like, shut up. I'm fine.
Stop talking.
The tree's nice. It looks great. And he's like, did you hurt yourself? I'm like, no.
Quit talking.
And my ankle's like,
and you're like, okay, I'm going to hobble off and go lick my wounds.
And I started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. He's like, it's fine.
That's funny.
I'm like, it's not fine. It's awful.
Oh my God, no.
I have been so clumsy though. Like so clumsy.
I'm always clumsy. Always.
I don't know what's going on. In fact, because I'm an anxious person, hours later, you know what it probably was? And he's like,
I'm going to start my period.
So I said,
oh, I'm extra clumsy when
I'm sitting there. I go, you know what it probably was? He goes, what? I go, the reason that I tripped and fell into you. He's like, what? You mean hours ago? And I go, yeah. He goes, what? I go, I'm PMSing and I'm pretty sure I'm hormonal and blah, blah, blah. And trying to explain away my awkward moment. And he's just like, okay, well, you do it all the time. Did it again today. Today. Yes. But it was in my bedroom. And I'm like, this is why I have to get rid of these slippers.
Yeah, you do.
I bought new ones.
It's only going to be a matter of time before you can have serious
injury. The third pair arrives today.
Oh, yay.
And I literally just bought the same slippers I had before.
You're like, let me just get the ones that my tried and true.
Let me just get the ones I want.
They worked for years.
Why do I care? And I replace them when they wear out. I don't let them get ratty. I love them. Dumb.
You don't have a ratty robe.
I have no ratty robes.
Well, mine was just an ugly moment. I hate myself sometimes when I do these things, but According to Jerry, it was legit. Like, I had a reason to be ugly.
Oh, good.
So the hospital is not a fun place to be. And I don't know what it is about the people who work there.
Just depends. It's a luck of the draw.
The nurses.
I know a lot of great nurses.
I was just about to say, the nurses are generally amazing. They have the best customer service faces.
Oh, for sure.
They're so nice.
And they'll put up with a lot of stuff.
They put up with a ton of shit. Mm-hmm. So we're relatively non-needy.
Of course.
I'm there a lot.
Yeah.
So I pick up the slack as far as, they don't have to change his sheets.
I know.
And help him change his clothes. And
same.
Shit like that. I actually showered him. Well, so one of the things about being in the hospital, though, is they are very hyper vigilant about your safety. When there's no one there and they're just in charge of taking care of you, they don't want you to fall or, so anything you want to do outside of your little hospital bed, they would like to be involved.
Sure.
Well, my husband, being the freaking weirdo that he is, can't even, I still to this day cannot go into the bathroom after he's been in there defecating for hours.
Yeah, he's like, don't go in there.
He'll tackle me like a football player. No! So,
just trying to keep it sexy.
Couldn't wait for me to get there so that he could do his business because he didn't want to tell the nurse that he had to go to the bathroom. So, I get there. I'm like, all right. So I help him in the bathroom. I didn't realize that they have these fancy little alarms on your bed now. So when you get up, they know. Oh, I had no idea. So you don't hear it, but they hear it at the nurse's station. Something. So he goes in there. As he's in there, I'm literally changing his sheets, changing his pillowcases.
Yeah,
there was all new linens in there, getting everything ready because he was out of the bed. And in comes Nurse Ratchet. Now, she is not a nurse. Oh. She's a nurse's assistant.
Different.
They are different. Mm-hmm. They just don't have the same level of professionalism I've found, but whatever. They still have a job to do. I get it.
Sure.
She comes in and she's like, oh, well, he's not supposed to get out of bed unless he rings the nurse's bell and I come in here and help him. I'm like, oh, well, I was here. I helped him. He's fine. He needed to use the restroom and he wanted some privacy. So I helped him do that. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, I don't care. I need to know. And unless I'm told that he can't, because the real nurse.
My eyes are wide.
The real nurse she had come in and introduced herself to me and said, if he needs to get up, this is what I do. I just unplug the IV. I hang it right here on the little arm and then he can go in there. I'm like, so
she didn't give you any indication that you needed to
She showed me how to do it. Yeah. So like, okay, wife, if he needs to use this is what I do. It's very simple.
Sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
So I did that exact thing. And
all was well.
I'm telling Nurse Ratchet, well, she showed me how to unplug it and put it here. And that's what I did. And he's fine, She's like, well, I am responsible for him. And she starts kind of going, she's literally lecturing me. And it's in a tone like it's either your mother or your boss. And I immediately get pissed off.
Of course.
I mean, I'm looking at this bitch like, you know what? I go, I'm his wife. I go, I want him to get hurt less than you do.
Why would I want to be reckless with this man?
I said, if there was even a iota of an inkling in my mind that he was not physically capable of me helping him to there. Yes. By the way, you're like 15 years older than me and twice my size. So I'm pretty sure I'm stronger and younger that if he were going to fall, you wouldn't fucking be able to catch him, bitch.
That's
so
right.
what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So immediately I go into this whole I don't really care. I go, look, if he has to go.
Gestures.
Yeah, I was. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I know.
I go, if he has to go to the restroom and I'm here, I'm going to let him go to the restroom and I'm going to help him. I'm not going to ring your bell to tell you that. She's like, well, I'm not trying to argue. I go, babe, I'm not arguing with you. I go,
I'm telling you how it is.
I go, why don't you go back to your little nurse's station and you go snitch to whoever it is you want to snitch to and have them come in here and confront me. I'll be happy to explain it to them. I'm like, bye. And so she
walk out?
She stormed out. Like,
good.
Like she was so angry.
And then when the nurse came in, be like, I want a reassignment. I don't want that bitch.
She never came back.
Good. I'd be like, I don't want that woman to ever see my face again.
So then another nurse came in and she's like, hi, wife. She was so sweet. I know it was like whatever happened back there.
Yes.
She was like, all right, I need to nip this in the bud before this bitch goes crazy and comes
before she calls the director.
Of us.
She called the director.
So a few minutes later, Jerry comes out of the bathroom and he's like, what the hell's going on?
Nothing. Get in bed.
He was in the bathroom he's like, you're already starting fights?
Oh, no, please. He was sitting in there quietly going, okay, I'm just going to wait till
he was. Well, yes, but when he came out, he's looking at me like, what happened?
He's not over there going, hey, what's going on?
No.
He's
in
not.
his gown, nude? No.
He's like, I'm vulnerable.
You're so vulnerable when you're in the hospital.
He's like, I'm just going to sit here vulnerably on the toilet while my wife is standing right in front of the bathroom door and I'm trying to take a shit.
I mean, I'm sure for him, because of the kind of person he is, it probably does provide some relief that there's somebody willing to, because he's not confrontational like that.
Hey, listen, man, you need one of those people in your room whenever you're there.
Especially if you're ill and you're just not.
Which is exactly why, by the way, not to completely make this about myself, but when I went to the hospital, Daryl was not the man. It was you and mother.
Exactly.
It has to be.
And that's how it will be for me if I ever have to be in the hospital.
Hell yeah, because
Jerry can't.
I got to tell you, Stephanie, when I was in there, I had dirty sheets and I finally started trying to sit up and I had shit in my body. Yeah. I had like stuff down my throat and I saw it and I go,
I need these to be cleaned.
And Mom's like, what the hell is going on in here? And Daryl's like, oh, I didn't even see it. And
right?
I'm like, but he
wouldn't notice.
They're different.
Jerry didn't even notice that his sheets needed to be cleaned.
Yes.
I didn't just say, well, you've been here for 24 hours. Those should probably be changed. No, I noticed they needed to be changed. So I politely let him go to the restroom while I did that.
Yes.
Give the person some dignity. It is already a horrible situation to be in. So he comes back. I tell him what happened, and I'm like, I am shaking. I'm so angry.
You're like, I want to go over there and
I'm not done with this. Yeah,
I want resolution.
I did want her reassigned. I wasn't sure. I was like, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to leave, and that cunt's going to come back in here.
That's right.
And she's going to be a dick to my fucking husband, and I will lose my shit.
And that will not happen.
So I go. I'm like, will it bother you if I go out there and ask to speak to someone else? He goes, well, no. I'm like, okay. I just want to make sure that you're not going to be like, stop, like, don't make a big deal out of this, you know? Right. So I walk out, I march out there.
Good.
Go to the desk, and there's 3 nurses sitting at the nurses station, and I'm like, hi. I'm like, who can I talk to that's in charge? I'm like, not of my husband's care. And then here comes Nurse Rasset right up next to me. Like, I think she saw me walk up there.
Oh, so she's like, I have to have my sign.
She came over there to be, And they're like,
I said, really didn't want to see you again.
They're like, I didn't even look at her. I saw her out of my peripheral, but
the peripheral.
Yeah. So I'm like, they thought, what does he need? Like, what does your husband need? We'll get it for him. We'll get his nurse. I go, no, not about his care. It's nothing that he needs. I go, it's about her. And I turned and I looked at her and I pointed with my finger, and she's like standing there with this stupid look on her face. I'm like, They're like, oh, and then everybody gets weird when you're
because there's not very many of them, and they're just like, are you going to go ballistic, or is someone going to film this?
Right. No, I didn't have my phone out. I was trying not to be a Karen. Like, I really didn't want to be a Karen.
Here's the thing. Karen comes from racist stuff. You're not being racist.
No, I wasn't being racist.
You're being an advocate. And that's the thing I hate about society is they've turned any woman into a Karen.
Right. Any white woman.
No.
Well, you can be a Karen no matter what. I've seen other TikToks of Karens that were
it's not colors. If you look at the origination of what a Karen is a white privileged woman who has disdain for somebody who is not white.
For no reason.
And they're screaming and they're threatening to call the police and all this garbage.
Yeah.
There are truly entitled assholes.
Right.
Which you're not being.
I was trying not to be.
The problem is that's the problem is that now you're like, okay, I have to check myself and make sure that you're not.
Am I being unreasonable?
You're not going to be belligerent. You're not going to make a scene.
No.
All you're trying to do is say, I can't have this piss poor attitude in my husband's bedroom.
Because she's physically caring for him.
Because she is responsible for his body.
Yes.
And I can't be here for her to be rough or difficult with him when I leave, or say anything about me when I'm gone. And she's not mature enough. I can tell already
to be professional.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So get someone else.
It's just a terrible feeling to leave your loved one in a place where they're physically completely dependent.
He's sick.
Right. And he was so sick.
I know.
So it was like,
and it wasn't COVID for them, by the way.
No. It wasn't COVID, but it was something that needed to be taken care of in a controlled setting.
Yes, exactly.
So we had no choice. So ultimately, it was fine.
Did she stay on?
No.
Okay,
they switched her. I never even had to ask.
Thank God.
I never even had to talk to anybody. Good. She must have told them what happened. They're like, all right, you know what? You're not going back in there. I don't care what. Whether she was wrong or not, you're not going back in there. It doesn't matter.
You don't confront someone who's clearly distraught that their spouse is in the hospital.
I mean, seriously?
Like, come on. Like, this is why you're an assistant.
Yes. I was like,
you don't get upgraded to RN yet.
But I'm just so tired of having to be a bitch in every situation because some idiot can't do their job properly. Do you know how often I have to check myself at work?
Oh, yeah.
I could go ballistic on 90% of the people I talk to because they're just morons.
I don't know what's going on because it's not isolated to just work. It's everywhere.
It's like an entitlement. Like they think there can be assholes while they're being paid. And I'm like, this is your job.
I just don't, I mean, there are, yes.
You know?
I agree. I agree.
And healthcare specifically is just such a challenging, I know it's challenging for both.
Oh my God.
I've heard for the employees, it is horrible.
I mean,
they're underpaid, they're understaffed.
Well, the burnout from the last 4 years is real.
It's very real. I get it.
It's funny.
And I have sympathy for that. I really do.
Hell yeah.
I will try so hard to be
here's the difference. Here's the difference though. I like I said, I have a lot of very dear friends and people I know who are in the healthcare industry. They are nurses. They've been doing this thing during the time when they were literally stripping naked in their garage before, because they were afraid they were going to give their family COVID.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they've been through it. They are grizzled veterans. They've seen some shit.
For sure.
They have yet to lose their professional demeanor. They have yet to lose their compassion.
Right.
That doesn't go away just because.
Well, sometimes you have to, because I have a job like that.
Being tough is different than being unprofessional.
Right.
That's different.
Sometimes you have to, and when you have a job where half of your job is to be compassionate, because people are not in the same, you're doing your job, but they're in a vulnerable position.
And they're terrified.
They're in a bad place, right? And I'm not talking about healthcare specifically, like with my job, they're calling, they need something, they're generally desperate, right? I do it every day, all day, and I've heard it all.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I have to remind myself that I'm the first person that they're talking to today.
Yeah, and they're clearly under duress or stress.
Yeah,
at least.
They haven't talked to 25 other people in their same boat that day.
That's right.
It's just me.
Getting desensitized is really, really the biggest challenge.
It is. But it's a skill.
Well, yeah.
And I've learned that it's a skill and that you have to, it's part of your job is to be skilled and not getting desensitized. Or even if you are desensitized, pretend you're not.
Yeah, fake it.
Yeah.
And then they'll think you're the greatest human on
the
planet. I know. I agree. Well, I mean, I think that was an absolutely ugly moment. And
so it was ugly.
Required.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely required.
But I'm like, God, I'm so sick of having to be the asshole all the time. People, can we not just do our jobs? Jesus Lord.
You're so true. Okay, so we are done with our show for today.
Yeah.
Next week, next week we will get in because the holidays are coming.
I know.
And so the next time we talk, I have a whole travel. We are going to talk about travel.
Okay.
We have so much travel to talk about. So next week we will be back. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.